There's the egg.
Right now.
Actually, on this disc, I felt like we were kind of going for a little bit more of a raw sound, you know, maybe not quite as pretty as the last one, maybe a little bit more powerful.
I think the melodies on this CD are actually stronger than the first one, but the production's just a little edgier, and I think everything's a little more in your face probably than the last recording.
We bought some new gear. That helped.
Definitely.
But also maybe we're a little bit more loose in the studio this time and more comfortable, and we didn't get in our own way as much as we did the last time. We let things just kind of develop naturally instead of trying to force everything to be just right all the time. I mean, we do a certain amount of that regardless because that's our nature, but I think this time we allow things to happen a little bit more naturally.
Without a fight, I go down, giving up without a sound.
Well, we started by recording the drums, which we actually did at a separate studio so we could record them analog. For those of you less technically inclined, that's on tape.
Those of you that are under 30, you wouldn't know what an analog tape is, probably.
Exactly. But we recorded the drums first at a separate studio and really just had scratch tracks, everything else, meaning that we weren't really going to utilize those tracks until later. Then we went back and recorded bass and really acoustic guitar first. Then went through and started working on guitars, which tend to take the longest because there's the most amount of stuff to that, and there's the most experimentation done with the guitars more than anything else. And then once we got a little ways into the guitar recording, we started laying down vocals, started laying down violin parts, then eventually finished up by recording keyboards. We had Ian Varley from Drop Trio came in and did keyboards, and then had the background vocals were the last thing we finished.
Some songs you have a real good idea from playing live exactly what you're going to do, and then others seem to lend themselves to really being resolved in the studio, because in that, when you're in the studio, you have total control over the levels, and you can hear what you're doing and how it's working with the other instrumentation and the song better, and so you might see a better path to go down. Plus, you're experimenting with sounds and different guitars, different amps, different settings, and there's just so many variables with guitars. You'll have more than just a couple of tracks to contend with. You have 4 or 5 tracks going on, and some of them doing very small little bitty things, but they add a lot.